What can teacher evaluators learn from Brené Brown? In today's video, I'm going to talk about one of Brené Brown's most powerful messages. Clear is kind, unclear is unkind. And I'm going to share 3 ways that I think we can learn from this advice to improve our work and be more kind, brave, and effective school leaders. So click the subscribe button and the notification bell so you stay in the loop about future videos. Welcome to my channel for leaders who want to lead with love and love to lead. My name is Jess Madden-Fuoco, and I believe that if we support teachers' growth, teachers can support students' growth. I've learned so much from Brené Brown's work on shame, resiliency, and leadership that has helped me be a better leader and a better human. But for today, I'm going to focus on Brené Brown's message that clear is kind and unclear is unkind. So Brené Brown and her team researched this question: what kind of leaders do we need to really have workplaces that are innovative and able to meet the demands that we're facing right now? So there is one answer that emerged from this research: we need braver leaders and more courageous cultures. So to better understand this, Brené Brown followed up by asking why courage and what's getting in the way of building more courageous cultures. So the top answer that emerged was people were avoiding having courageous conversations, including giving honest and productive feedback. So if we avoid having these conversations, Brené Brown and her team found that there's very negative consequences. So trust and engagement can go down in the organization, and bad behaviors like people talking about one another behind their backs can actually increase. And employees' overall performance goes down because they're not getting the kind of honest feedback that they need to improve. So I have no data to support this, but I worry that schools are even more susceptible to this culture of nice than many businesses, because a lot of folks who go into education are really nice people. And some of us might have been taught, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. But this has to end. The consequences are too high for us and for our students if we're not giving people the feedback that they need to improve. So I have 3 recommendations that I think will help you live out this advice that clear is kind and unclear is unkind. So my first recommendation: when you consider having a conversation or you consider delivering some critical feedback, you need to remind yourself clear is kind and unclear is unkind. And I find that actually putting up a message that I want to remind myself of in a place where I'll see it helps me to sort of internalize and start believing that message. So you could put a Post-it note up somewhere, or you could put a message somewhere on your computer to remind yourself that clear is kind, and that by having these conversations, you're actually supporting someone's growth. Number 2, clear is not just saying it or putting it in an email. To actually really be clear, we have to say it regularly. We have to explain why it's important. We have to follow up one-on-one with people, and we have to let folks know how they're doing as time goes by. So I'm going to explain this again because I often hear leaders say, I told people they had to do this. But remember, leadership is not telling. We need to explain the expectation clearly and regularly. We need to explain why meeting the expectation is important. We need to support people one-on-one with meeting the expectation. And then we need to give people feedback regularly on how they're doing as an individual in meeting that expectation. So if you aren't doing this, I want to push and say you might not be being as clear and kind as you hope. So number 3, if you're upset about what someone is doing, tell them to stop. So this one took me a few years to figure out as a leader. I remember when I first became a leader, I had a teacher who was kicking students out of class regularly. And I tried to work with the teacher on ways of engaging the students in class, ways of preventing students' off-task behaviors. But what I didn't do right away is I didn't say to the teacher, you need to stop kicking students out of class unless there's a safety issue. And what I've realized over time is that we need to do both of those things simultaneously. So we need to, if a teacher or a staff person is engaging in a behavior that just needs to stop, we need to say that, and we need to support the person with learning other ways of planning and pedagogy that can address the issues. So I encourage you, when you're working with someone and they're engaging in a behavior that you think is harmful, I encourage you just to tell them to stop and to explain why, and then also support them in learning alternative approaches. So I'm hoping that this has inspired you and that it gave you some ideas to live out this advice of clear is kind and unclear is unkind. So comment below. I'd love to hear your ideas about what conversations are difficult for you and what ideas do you have to make sure that you're being clear and kind. So check out my other videos, which I'm hoping will support you on your leadership journey. And if this video was helpful, it really helps my channel if you give it a thumbs up and you subscribe and click that notification bell so that you know about future videos. And share this video with all your teacher and leader friends so that we can support teachers' growth and they can support students' growth. And remember, if you lead with love, you will love to lead.